Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Well, welcome to Figured Out Friday in the Coach's Cafe. I am pulling up for those that don't know me. I'm Regina Lack, I'm a certified social worker, and I am your plant based boss. And you know what that means? It means that we are becoming a well soul every day. So I have a really good conversation. We're going to be talking stress, nutrition, and heart health today. So make sure you go ahead on and share this out with someone you know and or love who could benefit from this hot conversation today. We're talking about what does it look like to recover the recoverable? Type that in the comments for me real quick. Go ahead on and let's get engaged. Recover the recoverable. What does that look like in real life? What does that feel like in real life? So I want you to hear this clearly and really understand. No matter how old you are, no matter what condition or state you're in today, you can still recover your health. You can still recover your health, better health than where you are today. So we're going to be diving into good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning over there on Facebook. Good morning on YouTube. Thank you for joining. Good morning, LinkedIn. Thank y'all so much for being here in this space this morning. So we're talking about what does it look like to recover the recoverable. It's not too late. Type that in the comments. It's not too late. Wherever you are in your health, on your health journey, it is not too late. And so we're going to be diving into behavior lifestyle factors that actually influence chronic disease outcomes. Chronic disease outcomes. And so today we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to get some swaps. I'm going to share with you a couple of food swaps, meal swaps, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So make sure you stick around. And again, make sure you share this out. So here's the deal. I was at Sam's on yesterday and I was just going in there for some water. No, gum. I was going in there to pick up a pack of gum, not just one pack. You know, you get the bulk packs. That's why you go to Sam's to get the bulk items. And so since I was going in there to get gum, I started walking around. Hey, is there anything else that I could benefit from while I'm here since Sam's is the bulk store? So I had an opportunity. I'm just walking around. You know how you walk around the store. And I saw, you know how you're in the grocery store and you see those individuals who have those, try this out, right? And so I met a beautiful soul who was on her post, had her little display set up, offering people an opportunity to try this product. And I'm like, that looks good. And, I was like, in order for me to buy this, I'm going to need your discount. So we started joking, having some, casual conversation around that. And that particular product, she just spoke about this beautiful soul, 71 years old. I wouldn't have pegged her age, would not have known her age. 71 years old, did not have a wrinkle in her face. But here's what I want you to hear that stuck with me from that interaction on yesterday. This beautiful soul had a stroke March 22nd, 2026. She had a stroke. Today is April the 17th. She's back at work. No indication that she had a stroke. One thing for certain, two things for sure. You can't tell me God ain't real and he don't still perform miracles. What does that have to do with this conversation today? In talking to that beautiful soul, she was hospitalized, but this is what she told me. She said, I had to make some changes immediately. She said she had to make some lifestyle changes immediately. She said, I used to love pork. I don't eat that stuff no more. Beet, I don't eat that stuff no more. I don't have to have it. She decided that because God gave her another chance after that stroke because all the foods that she had been eating was contributing to her demise. She had a stroke. And we had a conversation. I stood there talking to her, I know about 15 minutes, just listening to her story and how when she was hospitalized, her son refused to allow any visitors because what I said was because you needed some rest also. I can imagine you're the one that takes care of everybody, ripping and running, doing things, supporting your family, supporting your friends, being that person, and your body needed some rest. You did not need all them people coming in, crying all over you with all their doom and gloom, and your son had hope. Because what she said was her son, what's up? Good morning. Thank you. She said her son told her sisters and all other people and did not allow them, not just told them, but did not allow them to visit her while she was in the hospital. He said she needed to be alone with God, right? And to be alone for her healing. And so I share that with you again. She was 71 years old. Ain't no was, is 71 years old, had a stroke March 22nd, back at work. I saw her, no signs of a stroke on yesterday, April the 16th. Changed her lifestyle, changed the things that contribute to her early demise. See, we be saying, Lord, if you get me out this time, I won't go back no more. Or we be saying, just a little bit won't hurt. I'm just going to have a little bit. And that's something I deal with. A little bit does hurt. A little bit does hurt. Type that in the comment. A little bit does hurt because it is a little bit over time that gets you to the borderline. And if you don't stop, you gonna what? You're gonna cross the line. So I want to share that story with you because it was so encouraging to me to see. Here is this 71-year-old beautiful soul had a stroke March 22nd, still living, no indication of a stroke. And what she said, I changed my lifestyle as a result of having this opportunity to keep living. She has an opportunity to keep living. So I want you to understand, and I'm going to say it again, it's not too late. Type that in the comments. It is not too late to make changes to your lifestyle. You may have grown up on pig feet and fatback. You may have grown up on having macaroni and cheese, but I have consistently shared with you all that dairy products, particularly cheese, is the number one source of saturated fat in the American diet. On this Figured Out Friday, I'm going to give you a couple of freebies on a Friday. Here's your freebie on a Friday. Cheese is not your friend. You cannot leave out this live or this replay and say, I did not know. Cheese is not your friend. Dairy products are not your friend. Trust and verify. You can go and check for yourself. Dairy products, particularly cheese, is the number one source of saturated fat in the American diet. Point number one. That's not even on my notes. It's a freebie on a Friday. Point number two, saturated fat is the leading cause of cardiovascular disease in these here United States. Point number two, if you're eating a lot of dairy products, if you're eating a lot of cheese, you are contributing to your risk, increasing your risk for a cardiovascular event, such as a heart attack, such as a stroke. And based on what I'm sharing with you all, these things are preventable. Why? You was not born with dairy products in your spirit, in your soul, in your stomach, in your belly. Put the dairy down. Okay? It is your girl, the plant-based boss, pulling up to educate, not just inspire. You're going to walk away with tangible information, meal swaps that's going to help you starting this weekend to make some changes. Type in the comments, it's not too late. I can do this. It is not too late. Thank y'all for interacting with me. It is not too late. And no, sir, no, ma'am, dairy is not your friend. Hey, she ain't your friend. If it's a he ain't your friend. All right. So I have been leaning into, I have been leaning into this cardiovascular and stress. Two things. One, we don't think about stress in a way that uh, we don't think about stress in a way that it really impacts our health. We think that I operate good under stress. I just work good under pressure. Baby, no, you're going to bust a gasket. That's what you're going to do. You're going to bust a gasket around here. We don't want you busting a gasket. Your high levels of stress contributes to your cardiovascular health. It directly correlates to your cardiovascular health. We often think about heart health as only cardio, getting movement in, but your nervous system, type in the comments nervous system, your nervous system, your levels of stress is a silent driver to your cardiovascular health. And so, like I said, today I want to talk to you about some foods, okay, that can help you make some changes. Sometimes you just don't know. That's just the reality of it. This is what I grew up on. Ain't nobody around me talking about living like this. So I don't know. I don't know. You gonna know today. You gonna know today. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how was your stress this week? How was your stress this week on a scale of 1 to 10? Because whether you work from your house, whether you are retired, whether you work in a work environment, honey, things pop up in your life that can be potentially stressful. And I want you to be aware of when that starts to impact your health. And don't ignore the warning signs. I got a 5 over here on a scale of 1 to 10. I have a 5 that you're on a stress level. Okay, that's getting your attention. So you have some awareness of that. I have a 1 over here on YouTube. I have another 5 over here. Hey, so we middle ways. So the indication there is I need to pause and start to pay attention. I need to pause, evaluate what were those things this week, because what we don't want is to marinate on it all weekend and then go into Monday with a 6 headed to a 7. We have awareness. That's an easy way. That's an easy thing to think about. How was my stress this week? What was my stress level? And instead of stress eating the bad things, I'm going to give you some foods that'll help you to calm your nervous system, especially, regardless of where you are, whether you're at home, whether you're in the inside of a workplace. So I want you to have these tangibles, right? So I need you to understand when we're stressed, when we have these high levels of stress, which increases our cortisol level, it will actually, and this is the scary part that we don't think about and why people wind up having heart attacks and strokes. It actually tightens your blood vessels. Let me do this disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I do my research and I consult with medical practitioners. I am not a medical physician, right? But I do my research and I do, like I said, partner with medical practitioners who I verify my information with. And so I want you to make the connection that when you have chronic stress, cortisol levels high all the time, you can tighten your blood vessels. What happens then? It increases inflammation. It increases swelling in the body. And so I want you to always to think about when I'm stressed, I'm increasing my inflammation. I'm increasing my risk for a cardiac event. I'm increasing my risk that the more stress I have, the more likely I am to lead to my blood pressure going up. I challenge you all to take your blood pressure for 7 days. I've been taking mine and posting it to my stories because I want to show you, to demonstrate the practice, to be intentional, to check your vitals, even if you don't have a medical condition, because heart attack is called the silent killer for a reason. If you're walking around here unknowing, you don't know. You may think you have the picture of perfect health and be borderline at a heart attack, right? So you may feel fine, or you may feel like I got a little light headache. I get a little light headache. It's just a little stress headache. I'm just going to sit down and take a load off for a little while. And find out your blood pressure 220 over 105. You need to be at the hospital. So do not leave that to chance. I'm having this conversation with you because I met a beautiful soul that had a heart attack March 22nd. She up and walking around, changed her lifestyle. Don't take your health for granted. I don't think she did. But now that she knows, she's making lifestyle changes. 71 years old. Type in the comments, it's not too late. It's not too late. Especially if you're battling a chronic health condition, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, or you carrying excess weight. We want you to type this in the comment. We want you to recover the recoverable, and your health is recoverable. Now, typically when I talk to medical providers, we know the medication. Y'all know the medication, but medication can only do so much. Your medications can only do so much. It can only take you so far. If medication was the panacea, was the be all, end all, your condition would be in remission and you would not be on medication. Silence was intentional. So if medication was the be all, end all, 6 months, whatever time frame, your condition would be in remission and you would no longer be on medication. Medication is not designed to heal you. It is our lifestyle factors. It is our lifestyle factors, right? It is our nutrition. It is our movement. It is our stress. And it's also our social connections, right? And so medications can only do so much. When your stress response and your diet and your exercise or your movement to your capacity is not in order, you're going to continue to be on the medications long term. And that is not, you don't have to be. Let me say that you don't have to be. And so that's where the actual work comes into play. That's why I pull up to give you information that you can use to apply to your daily life, right? I've been there. I've been there, and I'm still there. I am still on my health journey. When my doctor told me she was going to put me on medication, I decided I didn't want to do that. And so I had to make some tough decisions, and I continue to make those tough decisions. Yeah. When we decide that we want better health, and it is a daily, I'm telling y'all, I'm not pulling up saying it's the easiest thing to do, but I am telling you that it's not too late. I do want to encourage you that you have agency, which is free will, to make some decisions. If you know that dairy products, particularly cheese, is the number one source of saturated fat in the American diet, and you know that you have a predisposition to cardiovascular disease, you have enough information to make a decision over time. I'm not saying just drop it all today, but do you have to, don't have macaroni and cheese this Sunday with your dinner on your burger. Take one step. Take one step. So let's get into the part that I really want to kind of help you out with real quick. We're talking about your stress, your nutrition, and your cardiovascular health. This is like a little overview, like your stress, nutrition, and your cardiovascular health. Because what we do know, medication is not going to solve it. Medication is not going to solve it. If medication could solve the problem, you wouldn't be on medications after you've been on it for a little while. It will fix you up. But that, unfortunately, is not the case. There are some things that we must decide to do. right? And our nutrition and our meals and our eating is a big part of it. Well as your movement, but your nutrition is a big part of it. Type in the comments. It's not too late. It's not too late. So, one of the things that people do when they get stressed out, and I hear it a lot, is that I just stress eat. Let me help you out with that because stress is a real thing. It is a very real thing. People operate under duress and unease every day in intimate relationships and friendships, in co-workerships, in employmentships, and all kind of ships. There are highly stressful situations, whether you lead an organization or whether you're leading your home, whether you are leading a team of 5 or whether you're leading a team of 50. We can put things in place to help reduce our stress. And when it's just there and the situations are just there, I want to give you some practical things where you won't keep going to the foods that continue to cause your health to be compromised. So let's talk about some calming foods. Type in the comments, calming foods. Matter of fact, I was in a conversation yesterday also where someone was saying, I didn't realize how much our minerals, we talked about, we know about vitamins and vitamin C, but I didn't know anything about the importance of magnesium. Type that in the comments. We want to make sure we're getting a sufficient supply of magnesium. That is something. Let me give you some examples. Where can I get magnesium from in foods? And if you can't get it in foods, then comes the supplement, because supplements are to supplement. That's a freebie on a Friday. Freebie on a Friday. Stay off the TikTok shop and everywhere else buying all these vitamins and supplements if you don't have a deficit. When you go to your medical provider and find out that you have a deficit, then you can supplement the deficit. Type that in the comments. Supplements are for deficits. But how they get y'all is out is commercialization. If you don't have a deficit, you don't need it. Period. My doctor put me on vitamin D because I was low. I go back in May. Prayerfully, I've done enough good work to not be taking vitamin D. I was not taking vitamin D before my doctor informed me that I needed to take it. And he only gave me like a couple of months supply of it. So I'm excited to be going back to the doctor, and I'll reveal those results afterwards. So let's talk about magnesium. Magnesium. This is where you can get magnesium from. Spinach. Popeye was on to something back in the day. You can get that from spinach, Swiss chard, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds is my new best friends. Y'all, I was cutting up and eating all those cashews. Cashews will help you out with that fat though. But anyway, pumpkin seeds and black beans. Black beans is also a good source of protein for you, your amino acids. So magnesium, type that in the comments. Where can I get magnesium from? Green leafy vegetables, particularly spinach, Swiss chard, pumpkin seeds, and black beans. Why? Why is magnesium important? Real simple. It helps to relax your muscles, including that thing that be doing this all day long, including your heart. And magnesium also supports the rest and reset in order for your nervous system to start to settle down. So magnesium is important because it helps your muscles to relax. Woosah. Get them greens in your life. So number one, a calming foods include spinach, Swiss chard, pumpkin seeds, and black beans. In this, we're looking at our mineral, magnesium. Magnesium. Number two, the brain-heart bridge. Say that 10 times. The brain-heart bridge. The number two thing that we're going to talk about are your omega-3s. Omega-3s. These Fats reduce inflammation. We talked about inflammation about 15 minutes ago. Inflammation in your arteries that stress often causes. You definitely want to have your omega 3s if you're in a high stress situation. If you work a high stress job, you want to make sure you get your levels checked and see if you need this. But where can I get omega 3s, Regina? You can get omega 3s from walnuts, chia seeds, and flaxseed. Okay? The brain heart bridge. They communicate. Walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. Here's the caveat though. Don't be like me, eating a whole thing of cashews. We want to eat a serving size. Eat a serving size. You one person, eat one serving. Don't be eating two servings. You ain't two people. Don't be like me. I don't even buy cashews no more. They so good. All right, y'all. And then number 3. These are the big 3. These are our big 3 stress busting food groups. The big 3 stress busting food groups. Your minerals, we talked about magnesium. Your brain, we talked about your omega 3s. And then how we're going to power that thing up? Polyphenol. Don't worry about trying to spell that. Polyphenol. What is that? These are what we call, don't worry about trying to pronounce it either, flavonoids that improve your blood flow. Flavonoids that improve your blood flow and can lower blood pressure in the moment. Type these foods in the comments. Berries. Make sure you keep them berries on you. Honey, if you're not having blueberries every day, I have mine in the freezer. So I got some little recipes I'm going to give y'all too, some meal swaps. I ain't going to just leave you hanging like that. Your blueberries and dark chocolate. When I say dark chocolate, I'm talking about at least 70% chocolate. I use cacao and I put it in my smoothies, right? So I'm not talking about a Snicker bar. I'm not talking about an almond joy. Okay? That ain't what I'm talking about, right? So these are our stress busting food groups. Stress busting food groups. Your minerals. We talked about spinach, Swiss chard, pumpkin seeds, and black beans. Why? Helps to relax the muscles. The second group, your omega 3s, walnuts, chia seeds, flax. Why? Helps to reduce inflammation. What? Why do we need to do that? Because stress often causes inflammation in your arteries. And then number 3, our polyphenols. Just remember berries, because y'all gonna be out there trying to get some Snicker bars and almond joys, and that is not what your girl said. I did not tell y'all to be out there getting no Snicker bars and almond joys, okay? No, sir, no, ma'am. Dark chocolate, 70%, okay? Try that cacao. I think you'll like it. So now let me get into a little application for you. Let me help you out. Some things that you can do at the house. You ain't got to go spend a lot of money over at the shop. Here is a little, what I'm going to call some kitchen integration. Type this in the comments, a little kitchen integration. What can I do at home, Coach? What can I do at home, Regina? What can I do at home, you little lifestyle lady? I'm going to help you out. Thank you for asking. So here's how you can start up a stress-free weekend. Stress-free weekend meal prep. That's what we're going to call it. For a, let's say breakfast or your first meal, because everybody don't eat breakfast. Here's a smoothie recipe for you. Type this in the comments. Spinach, walnuts, blueberries, and a dash of cacao powder. I would get up and go get it, but it would take me too long. Maybe I'll have some by me next week. A smoothie for you. And I'll put this recipe also in the comments and the notes. Spinach, walnuts, blueberries, and a dash of cacao. You're going to get everything. Minerals. That's your spinach. With your walnuts, you're going to get your omega 3s. And then with your dash of cacao, you're going to get your polyphenol, your power up. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Yes. And then for, say, you can make that smoothie. Hey, and if you try it, make sure you send me a comment about it. And then the other thing for lunch or for dinner or for your next meal, Don't overthink it. Here is a pan meal. Now, everybody don't eat, and I understand. Try something new. That's my other thing. Let me just say this. Don't say what you don't eat until maybe try some new stuff. I tried pumpkin seeds and I found out they are nice, okay? So here is a sheet pan recipe. Who don't like a sheet pan? Just throw it on the sheet pan and put it in the oven. Let's talk real quick. Chickpeas, roasted kale, and sprinkle you some chia seeds. Slide that sapsucker in the oven. Slide that meal in the oven. You have your protein, your brain heart health bridge. You got your roasted kale. Again, you got your minerals. And then you have your seeds, right? So those are just simple things. Three ingredients, 4 ingredients. So don't overthink this thing, this long list. No, don't overthink it. Those are 2 meals that you can try this weekend. You know you got to go to the store. So let's swap out with these foods that are one, help to calm our bodies opposed to increasing the stress level and cortisol in our bodies, right? And so, based on what you heard today, what is one food that I mentioned that you're going to add to your grocery list as we come to a close? What is one food that you're going to add to your grocery list, or are you going to try one of these stress-free weekend meal preps? Talk to me. Talk to me. What we going to do? What we going to do today, not tomorrow? What is one of these foods that you're going to be willing to try? Because here's the deal. Your heart works very hard for you. This is your invitation to feed it something that help it to relax. I want your heart to relax. Thank you. Somebody, they're gonna try pumpkin seeds. I got one that's gonna try walnuts, kale for the pan meal. Yes, 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 yes. Y'all, has this been helpful this morning to you? Has this been helpful? We're bringing this conversation to a close. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me across all my platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. Share this live out. These are some brief tips. This is some brief information that can actually transform your life with these small steps over time. So remember, your health is not just a diagnosis. It is recoverable. That is my thought to you. Let's recover the recoverable. And so as you go into this weekend, becoming a boss, becoming a well soul every day, I always think about, what can I do to recover my health? What is the one thing that I can do? It's not on your doctor. It's not on your spouse. It's not on your partner. It's not on your kiddos. It is on you, individual. And collectively, we share. Why? To encourage somebody. Just like I shared with you all about the beautiful soul that I met on yesterday who had a stroke March the 22nd, changed her life, because guess what? She's still here. She still has an opportunity. So that's your invitation. Y'all be saying, Lord, show me a sign. This is your sign to do something different, because it's not too late. And so if you are a healthcare provider or a community leader looking to bridge the gap, when we're talking about this chronic disease and chronic disease outcomes through behavior, lifestyle changes, I would love to connect. Because what we know is that medications is not the be all end all. It is not. If it was, people would not be on medication. So thank y'all so much for pulling up. I am your plant-based boss, helping you to recover the recoverable so that you can become a well soul every day. I will see you all next Friday, 6:00 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I will have a special guest in the studio, Jovina Strong out of Dallas, Texas. She is with Planted Strong. We're doing some partnership work. She actually has a Meatless May challenge coming up. So we're going to be talking about that and the impact of your nutrition on your health. Continue this conversation. So make sure you share this out. And if you have not, okay, if you have not been to my website, y'all see this like No Flinch Faith, make sure you go check out my merch. Here is the black version of it. You can become one who decides not to flinch when it comes to your health. And then number two, make sure you support by picking up a copy of my wellness journal, Making Boss Moves 40 Days to a More Planted You. It has been my absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you today. Make sure, if you don't do nothing else, understand that your health is recoverable and we're going after it. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful, beautiful, well weekend.